Started here at Wheathampstead Station. We had to come out slightly away, but then on a track bed on Corey right way. We've just come along here, crossed the footpath. We're now just around here at the top of Sheepcote Lane, and now we're walking to Blackbridge Sidings. This is where all the rubbish out of London from Ashburton Grove was taken, and had been taken for getting on for 100 years. It's just a few yards further on. One thing I failed to mention as we was at the level crossing is obviously you can see here quite clearly there's a set of points that led into an old gravel pit. Now that gravel pit was used extensively at the turn of the century for places like St Albans, Luton. There was a ballast train that used to take the gravel out. It became exhausted around the 1940s. I'm not exactly sure when, but certainly by 1950 the points were taken up and the gravel pit was gone, all the track was gone. So it became a single track again across the level crossing. We're standing at this point just here, just to the south of the crossing. You can see quite clearly the line is reasonably straight as it goes into Blackbridge Sidings, and that's what it's like today.
Ideal for walkers at the moment, and ideal for runners.
And cyclists.
It seems, yeah. There we go. See, Andy's eyes pick up everything. And there's what was a telegraph pole.
Yep, the bottom remains of a telegraph pole.
We film it now because how long will it be before that becomes non-visible? And we've met many cyclists along the route as well. And again, it's a lovely little route. Advise you, give it a go sometime. So it's Wheathampstead over there. And actually, although I can't see it from here, it's probably is the road over there.
Yes, that is the road, just by those line of trees.
I have to say, it's so peaceful out here.
Now, as I was a kid, with my dad and my mum and my sisters, we would walk up here. You can see the line of the fence coming up here.
Yeah.
And just at the top here, just as we come round, there was a bridge, hence called Black Bridge. And this is where the sidings were that took a lot of rubbish out of London, Ashburton Grove, into the pit that was here.
And we know we're by the pit because we've already seen a few signs saying danger.
Don't forget, whatever you put down, when you put more and more stuff on top of it, it compacts.
Yeah, and that's where you get the compression issues, isn't it? And that's where it starts doing the old chemical stuff.
Now, I think we're here. We are. We are. This is it. This is Blackbridge Sidings. A lot of it's filled in now.
Which is, well, I suppose that's a blessing.
Yeah. Now standing at the top of the entrance to what was Blackbridge Sidings over the bridge itself, the path you can quite happily see meanders up the hill around here, and if Gavin spins round, although you can't see anything now, the bridge was straight in front of us. The map quite clearly shows the path that we would have taken, except we walked on the track bed, to the top of the cutting and where the bridge was situated. This was where the entrance to Blackbridge Sidings were.
The bridge is not there because it takes us down some steps here to the track itself, making sure I don't fall over. And literally there is the dump.
Sorry for the quality of this actual picture, but we are standing in exactly the same spot that this picture was taken. This picture would have been taken about 1968, 1969 time, because as you can see, the main line, or the branch line to Wheathampstead, had already been lifted and the track had gone, but the track into the sidings itself was still in situ, and there's the bridge, Blackbridge Sidings. So this here is the entrance into the dump.
And we're standing there now, exact spot.
Exact same spot. Okay, so you can see the footings of the bridge, quite substantial, although it was just really for pedestrians. It wasn't really, I don't think even animals crossed it. But there you can see there's the footings, and look at that. We've actually found it now.
We can see the opposing side.
And Gavin's found the other side.
There he is.
So
Do you know,
this was the bridge.
We just had people walk past us and there's absolutely no idea. And here you can see the next piece of footing, actually it's a bit more substantial.
And the funny thing is, Gavin, I can tell you a little bit about this. When I was a child, 5, 6, maybe 7, my dad and I come up here for a walk. He said, come with me, Andrew, I want to show you something. And we come up here.
It's quite wide, Andy.
And we stood on the bridge. We stood on top of the bridge. And I remember saying to my dad, can we wait for a train, Dad? And he laughed and said, there won't be any trains today, mate. And with that, we left. But, oh yeah, well, let's just say, I mean, you can see how long it was. I mean, look how substantial it was. You know, it was, but it had to be because it was railway infrastructure. All this is the bridge. So you'll find, look, it comes along here, look.
Look, you see the brickwork.
Brick.
Yeah, so these people just walked past, no idea there was a bridge.
No idea, nothing, absolutely no idea whatsoever.
So what, rubbish from the sidings or rubbish from London?
Rubbish from London.
So somebody's made a few paths along here.
They have. Well,
here we go. London discard.
London discard, yes. Now, it's quite funny that when I last did this walk, it's probably about 10 years ago, this was actually fenced off. And there were pipes going into the ground to help the methane escape. I can't see any of the pipes now, and the fence seems to have gone.
Leather shoes.
But if you look around, it's all rubbish.
It is literally just stuff that's come out of people's bins from London.
Yeah, this was a rubbish dump from London.
Yeah, you can see it actually. If you look closely, there's pottery, broken pottery. Not that we want to film people's rubbish, but...
Well, the thing is, what happens, Gavin, as years go by, and look, probably a medicine bottle, look.
Yeah.
As years go by, the ground begins to sink down, the layer of earth and what sinks. And obviously the rubbish then begins to come up to the surface.
Yeah, because it's more solid.
Look at the jars and the bottles and what have you.
Yeah.
You imagine the enormity, the size of this place. I've suddenly realised I've come across something. If Gavin can walk a little bit over this way, I'm not sure if you can actually see it on the film, but there's a bit of a divot.
Yeah.
That's where the track would have gone round.
Oh, well, let's see if we can walk safely there. Mind your footing. Oh.
But look at this. I mean, how old is that?
I don't know. 100, 200
But
years
that's
old?
been here since at least before 1970.
Yeah.
So it could be Victorian.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah. Let's walk safely over to there and have a look at the divot.
Here we have a picture of how the dump actually was used. You could see there was 2 lines, and both these rail cars are full of rubbish that was taken out by grab and layered down. Not sure exactly how long the dump was here for, but it was certainly here at the turn of the century, the 1900s, and didn't close till 1971. So at least 70 years, 80 years, could be a bit longer. Now, one story is that we're not that far away from Shaw's Corner. This is where George Bernard Shaw lived. In summer, if the wind was in the wrong direction, he used to moan and groan extraordinarily because the smell coming from this dump. But we think that this picture was just over there. You can see where the ground rises and goes down.
Yeah.
That is roughly where this was.
It's shocking to see the, you know, what is on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, this is just absolutely shocking. You know, I can only describe them as potion bottles.
Yeah, medicine bottles.
You know, plates, all sorts of stuff. It's just
all stuff that wouldn't rot down is slowly coming through to the surface.
And the people who've used this material is long gone. Look.
Now, that is a medicine bottle.
Yeah, in fact, it's got a name on the left of it. Can you see that engraving?
Oh.
As long as it doesn't say Ward, it should be all right. Yeah, be careful.
Sorry,
Oh,
I just broke it.
this is where we find out.
London SE. Southeast?
Southeast, yeah.
Nothing else. Obviously, that would mean something to somebody.
Yeah. As long as it's not got arsenic in it or something, we should be all right.
Well, yeah, I shall have to wash my hands later on.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, honestly, that's just shocking. And of course, obviously, this is all coming back to the surface as the ground sinks. So Andy, all this rubbish now, did it come from one part of London or just everywhere?
Basically all of North London. What would happen was, like your dust carts now, they all pick up from certain areas where you live and they take it to a central place.
Yeah.
That was Ashburton Grove.
Look at this little
So,
egg cup.
London SE. Yeah, look, an egg cup. There's another bottle. I reckon that probably, I mean, I don't know. People could probably jump up and down, but that's probably a medicine or a poison bottle. We're standing exactly in the same spot again. You can see to the left-hand side of the picture, the track has already been removed. So this was probably after 1967. But you're seeing there quite clearly a Class 31 loco coming out of the dump sidings where the bridge was.
And we stood exactly there because the bridge is here and there's a little bit more infrastructure leaning up there.
Here was Wheathampstead Station. We walked along the side here, Corey Wright Way, and come back on about here. Here is the top of Sheepcote Lane, Marford Crossing. We've walked down here now, Black Bridge, where we are now, and there is the track that went in to the dump itself. All this looks all nicely landscaped and what have you. This was 1923, but you can already see it's already beginning to fill up. But as time went on, more and more rubbish. So we are standing here now. We're about to walk just down here now to our next subject. This is the last picture I'll show of Blackbridge sidings. It shows quite clearly the track heading off into Wheathampstead. This picture I should think would have been taken around 67, 68 time, just before the track was lifted. Otherwise these people would never have been allowed to walk along here. To the right, you can see the track curving off into Blackbridge sidings. But just before it, you can see the remnants of a head shunt. This is where the train would have waited for the empties to be ready and been collected and then taken back to Welwyn Garden City, then back into London. This sign up here, I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. Here is a picture of that actual sign, stop and await instructions. The train driver would have had to have stopped here, phoned back to the signal box at either Ayot or at Welwyn Garden City just for permission to proceed through into the dump. We're walking along the track bed now away from Blackbridge sidings. Blackbridge sidings, the dump was actually closed on the 24th of May 1971. The last two pairs of locos that come up the branch were Brush Type 2s, number D8230 and D8201. The track was very quickly removed and by the 28th of June 1971, all the track around here had been removed as far as Ayot, roughly where the A1 bridge is now. Gavin has just come across this. I'm sure this is what is known as a level marker. You can see the 4 bolts there. You would have an arm coming out here and an arm coming out that way. This way probably said level, this way might be either up or down depending on the gradient. I think this will be pointing slightly down, because if Gavin spins round, you can see the path is actually beginning to drop slightly. Black Bridge was one of the highest points of the line. Sharp-eyed Gavin has found yet another bit of railway infrastructure. Here you can quite clearly see the ratchet, which the concrete fence that used to have wires travelling through it would have been pulled taut with this. They would have been a handle on one side and it would have been wound to pull the cables tight. And this is what this is. It's the ratchet.
So after all that walking, we have actually reached the end of what was the dump. We have noticed that we are very steep now. Looking down into the countryside around us, which is really beautiful.
We're probably slightly uphill towards Wheathampstead and level towards Welwyn Garden City. We have now reached Sparrow Hall Bridge, bridge number 5 from Welwyn. This is from Geoff's book, and I can read it out to you. Out in the countryside, east of the gravel workings, class number N2 062 tank 69648, steamed through with a Dunstable-bound passenger train on the 30th of August 1958, having just passed under Sparrow Hall Bridge near Water End. And you can see quite clearly that's a class N2 locomotive, a Great Northern design with probably teak coaches behind it, coming down the line from Welwyn Garden City.
Thanks, Geoff, for letting us use the picture. And of course it was called Sparrow Bridge.
Sparrow Hall Bridge because you're near Sparrow Hall Farm, which is just over that way.
Yeah.
This is what is known as an occupation bridge. Occupation being a term for a farmer's field, farmer's bridge. Named after the nearby Sparrow Hall Farm. This bridge is a completely standard bridge which will built all the way along the branch line. It is completely built from brick. The height is 15 foot 8 inches and the square span, that's the span between the abutments, is 24 foot 8 inches. And you can see it's still in remarkable condition today. This was built in about 1858, 1859. And it was just for farm track.
Well, let's keep going and having a look then, Andy.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they were all built to roughly the same design. All the bridges along the line were built to this kind of design. Easy design built. Again, as you can see, at the bottom of the arch, you can see there's a few bricks sticking out. This is where they would have had a wooden frame curved round and it built the bricks on top of the wooden frame. When it was all dry, they took the wooden frame away and the bridge is here. And it's still in amazing condition now.
How many years old?
How good's your maths?
No good.
1859. So 160 years, 170 years. It's just amazing, isn't it? One thing I'd like to point out, if I may, can you see the brackets on the side there?
Yeah.
They are for the telegraph cables. instead of having the telegraph poles go up and over, which would have been made the poles enormous, they would have gone onto those and run underneath the bridge to the other side,
Yeah.
where they continued. Again, you can see we're climbing quite steeply here.
Yeah.
We have now reached the next major structure along the line, heading up the line towards Welwyn Garden City. This is bridge number 4, known locally as Hunter's Bridge. Again, it's completely brick built. It's an occupation bridge. Again, you can see quite clearly, apart from the runners, it's basically a farm track. That's all it was built. But if you look at the architecture and the brickwork and the amount of money it must have cost to build this, the railways certainly didn't spare any expense. This bridge is a height of 13 feet with a square span of 11 foot 9 inches. 11 foot 9 inches is the square span that goes across, not from the top of the apex, but literally across. So from abutment to abutment is 11 foot 9 inches. Again, the bridge is in remarkable condition. There is one or two little cracks in it, but you can say for a bridge that's 160, 170 years old, it's still amazing condition. They didn't skimp when they built things like this in the railway days. Film from the other side of the bridge. Again, you can see quite clearly the condition of it. You might notice some of the brick colours. Some are red, some are blue. The blue bricks are the very expensive ones. They're the ones that have been fired about twice as long as a red brick, and they sort of turn blue. And they're very, very sturdy, very, very strong bricks. And as you can see, there's hardly any wear at all on any of the bricks, especially the blue ones. They're in as good a condition today as they were when they was laid. From Blackbridge Sidings, we'll carry on the track bed all the way into Ayot, but then we can't go any further because this map shows quite clearly the original A1, but now there's an A1M right through the middle of this.
We meet all types out here, and it's strange that the thing that we became aware of first was the chomping noise.
Yes, I've never seen cows actually eating leaves off a tree before, but obviously she's enjoying it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's alone either.
She's munching one at that, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Wow, you know.
Oh, well, lovely.
Enjoy, you know.
Yeah. Of course, eating,
There's a couple of them actually. There's about 3 or 4 of them.
eating a stick and all.
Yeah. Wow, there you go.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a lovely picture here to show you.
Oh, that, by the way, that yellow greeny sort of arrow is not a graphic that I've just put on the screen. We think somebody's going to be having some sort of
Fun run.
or something like that. That's not a bedpan, is it? Well, a Victorian bedpan.
It's an old chamber pot.
The chamber pot. There we go, peoples. Now
Ashburton.
I recognise that name.
Yes. Now, isn't there a football stadium there? Something reminds me. Is it Arsenal?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Have they got a football club? Have they?
Apparently, yes.
Woolwich, Arsenal and Woolwich.
Well, Woolwich Arsenal is actually south of the river.
Yeah. So they moved there. They've done a Milton Keynes.
I think yes. I think they moved from one stadium and then they built on what was a rubbish dump. Ashburton Grove.
Interesting.
So all you Arsenal fans.
Yeah. We're not looking for dislikes on the video. We're just giving you a little bit of update. Yeah. Okay.
Your football stadium was built on a rubbish dump. Oh, I know. Isn't that teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bone. That's
cattle.
Yeah. Something's had a beef meal or something, and discarded it, and it's now up here.
Wow.
This is an archaeologist's dream.
It is. It is.
But as I say,
That candle holder.
this was all fenced off, and I mean securely fenced off years ago.
Yeah.
But now it's open.
It's like walking on a Roman
yeah,
dump.
absolutely. I mean, that bottle I accidentally broke, but that was complete.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll take it to Antiques Roadshow and sell it.
Say,
Oh, I ain't touching that. Let's go.
it's red.
Let's get away from here.
Look, there's another one.
Whoa.
And all this rubbish is slowly coming through to the surface.
Let's get off this dump.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, what you found?
Maybe somebody who knows what that is. I mean, is it a butterfly? What is it?
A moth, definitely.
Beautiful.
But isn't it funny, Gav,
Yeah.
how nature begins to
Well,
grow
he's
back?
off.
I mean, look at the trees. Now they're growing up. But as you can see, to the left,
And every now and then we are occasionally interrupted by a jogger. We just worked out why we're seeing the signs, because approximately 700 runners will be running on this pathway between the 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Ooh. Yeah, cut. And that could cause us a small problem.
oh, right, hide this jacket on. I think they'll be coming off, mate. I think that line up there is where the bridge is, Sparrow Hall Bridge.